Whoopsie. Hold on a second. Remember, if you don't like this camera arm, you can always get me the one I have on my Amazon wish list. Good evening, everybody. I don't know how I'm going to get done tonight. It's raining, might thunder and lightning, power might go out, and the cat is in desperate need of snuggles at the moment. And he smells like shit, although I can't see anything stuck to his ass. So I don't know if he just fucking farted or what. Anyway. Existential crisis. I don't have a job. I'm not selling enough on my crafts. Feeling very sad. Oh, the usual. I'm gonna see if I can finish this kitty tonight. This is a commission, so yeah. This is an old one. Godzilla Shrek? Excuse me. Alright, we'll start that, and we'll start this. So, it was just, like, pine, so it was gold, and I couldn't stand it, because even after I got it striped on, you can kind of see where they were there. It didn't look right, because this is the cat that I'm painting. So, you can see why he didn't look good in gold. So, I got his base gray. I'm just going to go over his lines again, and darken up a few things, and he should be good to go. Also, I went and saw the Barbie movie. I liked it. I understand why Republicans and those people are very, very angry. But it was a good movie. It covered a lot of things. And, yeah, I liked it. Maybe we'll watch Matt Pat's take on it. Do-do-do-do-do. Come on, I know you work, you bitch. Come on. Hello. Oh, that's just me. Never mind. Hello. What's wrong? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you being so mean? Come on. Really? Are you dead? Get out. The window's shut for the night. Alright, see if I can find those batteries. Be right back. That's why I start a live stream productively. That sucked, but I think I found something that worked, so we're gonna go with that tonight. Whew. Pain in my ass. I just bought new batteries. They're probably in the mess somewhere. Alright. I stole these out of the air conditioner remote. Huh. Still nothing. What happened? Home? It's weird. Maybe it's not. It's weird. Come on. My Roku not working? You're not. Well, I know the batteries work, so why? Come on. What's going on here? Nothing's working. Fuck you. That's what I'm gonna say to fuck you. Fine. I hear something. There's a high-pitched buzzing sound. Well, I can't hear it now. Nope, still hear it. Okay. Nope. Everything's dead, so I don't know what happened. Nope, what the fuck? Nope, you're not reading anything. You're supposed to light up. Is my remote dead? Is it broken? I only know how to hit it to make it work. I don't like this. God fucking damn it. Whatever, I guess. Alright.
Trash everything you have in your closet. The Barbie movie just changed fashion for the next decade. It's not Barbie who did it either. My eyes are on one guy and one guy only. Just Ken. Just Ken. Just Ken.
Okay. Redo your stripies.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Style Theory, where we can't get enough of Barbie's favorite fashion accessory, Ken. Now, at this point, I think you're all aware the Barbie movie is a smash hit. It's not hard to see why. The marketing team working on this thing went all out for it. Giant pink billboards, beach takeovers, neon pink mansions appearing in Malibu literally overnight. Don't get me wrong, the creative team definitely worked hard on the movie, and it is more than solid. But the marketing team, they were in overdrive. The only people who worked harder are sponsored for today's episode, HelloFresh, who works hard to bring fresh food straight to your door. More about them later. The real MVPs of the Barbie movie, though, the costume department. Not only were they able to recreate some of Barbie's most iconic looks for the movie, that much goes without saying, they then went above and beyond by making even more copycat outfits for Margot Robbie to wear during the various press tours. Basically, they took the assignment of making Margot Robbie into a modern-day Barbie and said, hold my brewski beer. 1985's Day to Night Barbie Barbie, 1960s Enchanted Evening Barbie, 1960s again here with Solo in the Spotlight Barbie, even super deep cuts like this throwback to 91's Earring Magic Barbie. It's just too bad that Margot Robbie didn't start handing out matching clip-on earrings to everyone around her, just like how the doll was originally packaged. Then the look would have been truly complete. There has been so much said about Margot Robbie's outfits, it's insane. There's good reason for that. Since the 1960s, Barbie has always been on the forefront of fashion. When the miniskirt first debuted in the 1960s, Barbie was there right along with it. As the doll's popularity grew, the miniskirt grew with it. It's important to remember that thing was controversial back in the day because it was short. It showed off, dare I say it, a woman's legs. But thanks in large part to Barbie's influence with younger girls, the miniskirt became an enduring fashion statement for decades and a mainstream cultural norm from thenceforward. Or another example, in the 90s, the whole aesthetic was just trying to be a Barbie girl. Bright and bold colors, crop tops, platform shoes, accessories like plastic bracelets and chokers. She just set the tone. And her influence hasn't just been felt in mainstream consumer fashion either. Barbie's collab with fashion designer from Oscar de la Renta to Moschino. In 2009, for instance, Barbie collaborated with iconic fashion designer Karl Lagerfeld, who created a limited edition Barbie doll and a mini wardrobe inspired by his signature style. The doll wore a tan suit, fingerless gloves, high-collared white shirt, and black ankle boots, closely resembling Lagerfeld's own distinctive appearance. This, in turn, introduced a generation of Barbie fans to high-end designer aesthetics. But you know what? I think all of that's already been talked to death. I'm gonna switch it up on you and talk a little bit about Ken. I mean, probably already knew that. It's in the title or something. Probably also somewhere in the thumbnail. So all told, not that much of a shocker. Let's just pretend that I really surprised you with this one. Today we're talking about Ken. Well, we might not have noticed him next to the ship beacon that is Barbie. The character of Ken is primed to be just as influential to the real-life fashion world as his pointy-toed co-star. In fact, I think that he's going to be even more important. And the ripple effects of Ken in this one movie, I think, are going to change the face of men's fashion for at least the next decade, and likely even longer. Don't think it's possible? Grab your pastel button-downs and don't button it down at all as we dive into the world of men's fashion and how it sometimes collides with male movie role models. Since the very beginning of time, fashion has always been impacted by influencers. And I'm not just talking about the Alpha M's, chic geeks, and dare guys of the world. I'm talking about some of the earliest influencers out there. Political figures, sports stars, kings, queens, philosophers, gladiators, people high up in their respective social circles. The entire history of fashion influencers, probably a great episode for us to do at a later date. So when visual mediums like film and television first hit the scene, suddenly the world opened up to another massively mainstream way of impacting culture on a global basis. All of a sudden you had actors and their on-screen characters becoming new breeds of influencers literally overnight. Probably the first major example of this trend came in the 1950s. I think we're all familiar with greasers, right? I mean, every high schooler known to mankind has been subjected to at least one class performance of the musical Grease, so the knowledge of this has basically been forcibly implanted into our brains. Greasers like leather jackets, they like slicked back hair, white t-shirts, and they have a fondness for singing and dancing about their cars. But do you know where the whole greaser aesthetic first got its start? The movies. Two movies, to be specific. The first was 1953's The Wild One, where a young upstart actor named Marlon Brando played Johnny Strabler, the leader of a rebellious bike gang. This stuff was new, it felt edgy, and it caught fire by presenting a masculinity than what had been the trend before. Preppy button-downs and cardigans. All of a sudden, this one movie opened the world's eyes up to leather jackets, jeans, and t-shirts, hair slicked back with greaser pomade. There was an ease to it, a relaxed coolness that showcased a new and laid-back approach to fashion, breaking away from more formal and traditional dress codes that existed at the time. This movie was then immediately followed up with Rebel Without a Cause 2 years later in 1955, where male heartthrob James Dean is again a cool, relaxed, nonconformist with a lot of deep feelings.
Well, I don't know what to do anymore except maybe die.
A lot of deep feelings. It resonated with younger viewers who saw a reflection of themselves, or at least who they wanted to be, on screen. And with that came the fashion. On top of the jeans, t-shirt, and hair, one of the most influential aspects of Rebel Without a Cause was James Dean's signature red windbreaker jacket, which became an iconic symbol of youthful defiance for the...
I'm not opening up the windows. Deal with it.
And young and with it. And thus, the 50s found their iconic male fashion, which would then be remembered forever in the history books and on the cafetorium stage every time a high school senior was forced to belt out Go Grease Lightning. 20 years later, this pattern would actually happen all over again. Style in the
Go away.
60s was heavily
I love you.
influenced by the British invasion, specifically Beatlemania, as British musicians crossed over the pond to find success here in the US. And with them, they brought hordes of screaming fans. Just so many screaming fans for this.
Some of the fences hold, others do not.
But they also brought with them their British fashion. This mod style, as it was known, featured slim-fitting suits, turtlenecks, and bold patterns. Meanwhile, more everyday attire had a relaxed look. Tie-dye shirts, bell-bottom jeans, floral patterns. That would then see its next massive evolution in 1977, when Saturday Night Fever hit movie theaters. All of a sudden, disco culture was in the mainstream. Prior to the film, disco was an emerging musical style in the clubs in New York and Philadelphia. After the film, it was everywhere, successfully getting you, your mom, and your grandma out onto the dance floor to hustle and shake your groove thing. But what's more important than your dance moves at the club? Your clothes at the club. Just like with The Wild One and Rebel Without a Cause in the 50s, younger audiences fell in love with Saturday Night Fever's story of young people trying to escape the challenges of urban life. Watching the main character Tony find release through incredibly cool dance scenes was a hashtag life goal before hashtag life goals were a thing. They exuded freedom, excitement, self-expression. It was something that viewers wanted to emulate right down to the clothing. Suddenly, three-piece suits in bold colors, flashy patterns, and metallic fabrics became the norm. Lapels were wide. The pants were flared out at the bottom to add a touch of flamboyance to the outfit. Tall platform shoes and shirts left unbuttoned to show the gold chains, all of it accessorized the look. In short, in a world of increased social and economic pressures coming out of the 60s, male fashion became all about escapism through extravagance, drama, celebration. Well, that's all ancient history, right? The 70s. Are people from there even alive still? Yes, they are. But I also get it. This was the time for the internet. I mean, these people had never even heard of a fidget spinner before, let alone lived through the 3 months that they were popular before immediately descending into the world of self-ironic parody. But just one more example will show you the impact that one movie can have over the course of fashion culture. The Matrix. When this thing came out in 1999, it changed everything. And I do mean everything. Filmmaking, technology, how we view technology, popular philosophy. You couldn't have a conversation with anyone that year without someone casually dropping, "There is no spoon," or "What if I told you?" Not all that surprising considering the memes live to this very day. Even the concept of the whole red pill versus blue pill thing, it started here in this movie from 1999. But of course, it also impacted fashion. This one film brought the cyberpunk aesthetic to the mainstream. Prior to The Matrix, it was all just casual and grunge. Things were laid back, baggy. You had flannel shirts with ripped jeans and combat boots. It was the embodiment of an anti-fashion aesthetic. It was also a direct reaction to the more polished and flamboyant styles that were coming out of the 1980s. And so what did Matrix bring to the table to combat grunge? Structure, form, power, energy, sleek black leather outfits, sharp sunglasses, and of course, the very long coats. To this very day, if you have yourself a long black coat, it immediately gets classified as a quote-unquote Matrix coat. Elements of the Matrix's fashion were featured in editorials and runway shows for years after the film's release. Alexander McQueen in 2000, John Paul Gaultier in 2001. Sure, consumers were eager for these items, but even the...
Listen, I love you with all my heart. We've snuggled. You slept on me all last night. I would like 2 hours to do some painting without you sitting on my lap, okay? You can sit on me all night long, okay? But leave me! So please get in your chair. Get in your chair. Fine. You want to go outside in the rain? We'll go outside in the rain. Okay. I'm telling you, you won't like it out there. But if you want to go out, come on. Come here, this is what you asked for. told you don't want to go out. Ugh, spoiled little brat.
Biggest names in fashion were inspired by the looks of this movie, and the inspiration never really went away either. As recently as 2017 and 2018, you saw more runway shows riffing on the style again, as nostalgia for the movies and hype around the new sequel ramped back up. Now, obviously, it didn't have the same impact the second time around, but the first time it hit theaters was undeniable, and it had ripple effects in fashions for decades later. The point of all of this is for me to show you that time and time again, we see big cultural milestone movies with a direct appeal to younger viewers, shaping the face of fashion each and every time they release. What other commonality do we see across them? A directly opposite fashion sense to everything that came before. Before the greaser, there was the prep. Before the flair of disco, there was the prim and proper mod. Before the Matrix, it was the oversized grunge. Which brings us back to Barbie and its overwhelming amount of Kenergy. On the whole, men's fashion has been fairly stagnant since the mid-2000s. It's been a constant mix of athleisure and graphic tees. You're either getting ready to work out or you're wearing your fandom on your chest. Mix in the occasional hoodie or hipster beanie and you are set. Colors, forget about it. Oatmeal with a side of gray. Even in Hollywood, the land of glitter and over-the-top fashion, there have been very few exceptions to this rule. Classic tuxedos, basic suits, and lots of blacks and neutrals. And these trends were only made more pronounced during the pandemic. I mean, why wear anything other than sweats when you're not going to be leaving the house? Why wear anything fun when there's no one around to see it and nowhere to wear it? The already shallow pool of men's fashion practically froze over. The system was set up, just waiting for something to come around and break it. Enter Kencore. Inspired by the new Barbie movie, Kencore is characterized by its bold, vibrant, self-expressive aesthetic. An aesthetic that incorporates elements of classic menswear with modern twists. Kencore outfits feature bright colors, bold patterns, and statement pieces. Big fur coat, lightning headband, fringe shirt. In Ken's world, the plastic painted sky's the limit. But it doesn't even have to be that extreme. A pink suit, a teal shirt, some neon. I mean, we've been seeing celebrities like Harry Styles, Jaden Smith, and Jimin breaking down boundaries on the definition of menswear for a while now. But you needed a big cultural milestone moment to make it to break the boundary further and finally cross into the world of the everyman. The success of the Barbie movie, this is that moment. They walked so that Ken could run. Ever since the first set photos leaked back in September of 2022, we've seen more and more menswear leaning into that irresistible Kenergy. Brands are leaning into colors and patterns for men. And yeah, they're even taking inspiration from all that denim. You're even seeing the same mix and match of fabrics and clashing patterns that Ken is known for. And now, on the runways and press events as hype around the movie reached its fever pitch, you had the casting crew leaning in hard. Let's start with the man of the hour, the king of the Kens himself, Ryan Gosling. Before Barbie, Ryan's go-to looks were pretty blah. No tea, no shade, Ryan looked fine, but there was just nothing there to really impress me. You know, fast forward to the world post-Ken Doctrination though, we start seeing Ryan donning a full pink-on-pink Gucci number. This look took a classic old Hollywood silhouette and added a modern pastel twist that my color-loving heart adores. And it doesn't stop there either. For the Toronto tour, we see him switching up the Barbie pink for a baby blue. And it's not just Beach Ken turning up the dial on menswear either. Simu Liu, already known for trying more interesting takes on red carpet fashion, kicked his style up a notch too. The Ken pun didn't work in this case, but we're just gonna roll with that. You can't win them all. Anyway, from mixing fabrics with this pastel green Paul Smith suede jacket paired with a pink knitted tank top, or this powder blue Versace number with a utilitarian take on a classic waistcoat, this man has truly harnessed the true power of a good stylist. In short, men are feeling just as empowered as women in the wake of this film to take chances on their wardrobes. Plus, all that extra pocket space means that Ken is now ready to hold all of Barbie's many accessories. Shoot, I'm doing it again. I'm making Ken's fashion about Barbie.
That's also why you have a second pair of mat or mirrored so you can reflect Barbie's greatness. Because that's really your job.
Wrong, Ken. You can shine too. In the end, the Barbie movie is doing a lot for women in both the fashion world and beyond. But it also seems to be doing something equally impossible, changing menswear for the better. To let the boys finally know that they too can wear unique, exciting clothing and not feel self-conscious. Just like the doll's been preaching to Barbie all these years. Seriously though, can I get one of those pink or green jackets? They look awesome. But hey, if your Kenergy is feeling a bit low, you can always recharge with the help of today's sponsor, HelloFresh. They're gonna throw in an epic dinner party for all your favorite Barbies and Kens? HelloFresh takes the panic out of meal planning by delivering pre-portioned ingredients straight to your door. And there is nothing to worry about when it comes to helping keep your plastic physique looking fantastic. HelloFresh offers a variety of meal plans to fit every doll's personal goals. Yes, I'm speaking to you, all you career beach Kens out there, and suggest they're a fit and wholesome option for you. Not only is it delicious, but it also takes the hassle out of staying healthy. But if there's more mouths to feed around the house, like say you got some Kellys and Tommies waiting for you when you get home, try out the family-friendly option. Great for those tiny tots always keeping you on your toes. Get it? Because Barbie's always on her toes. And if you are still starving, well, you can add more food from HelloFresh's amazing selections of snacks, sides, and more. Plus, it's more affordable than takeout. And just for all of you here in Theoryland, HelloFresh is giving you a special offer of 50% off plus free shipping. Talk about a sweet deal. So go on over to HelloFresh.com and then use the code 50StyleTheory at checkout to get started. That is HelloFresh.com with the code 50 StyleTheory to get yourself 50% off your entire order and free shipping. Link is at the top line of the description for you. And as always, remember, my friends, that's just a theory. A style theory. Keep looking sharp.
There we go. I'm trying to make it. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up.
New black diamond cheese sauce is so good. You don't want to tell people it's so easy.
Okay, right. I was doing
I like to
those.
redeem CT money on almost everything at Mars. Triangle Rewards has something for all of your hobbies. So get collecting.
No, his nose has got a little pink on it.
Chinese street food. The rocks are seasoned with chili, garlic, purple perilla, and rosemary. The dish is known as suadayo, meaning suck and throw away. The dish goes for 16 yuan, $2.30.
So, I guess you could say we've hit rock bottom? Ow! Oh, sorry. Okay, I admit, I've got a problem with bad jokes. Stop throwing those things. That is perfectly good food you're wasting. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, where today we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. A recent viral trend coming out of China shows chefs and street vendors cooking up rocks. Yeah, apparently this is a tradition that dates back hundreds of years. Pebbles are collected, cleaned, and then cooked with herbs, spices, and vegetables. Obviously, or hopefully, you're not actually supposed to eat the rocks. You're just supposed to suck on them for the flavor and then throw them away. Then again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. If you do want to swallow them, well, that's your call. I mean, I've heard of kidney stones before, but this is getting ridiculous. Okay, I'll stop with the bad dad jokes. You guys are just stone cold. So, what prompted the internet to start gnawing on gneiss? Well, stir-fried rocks, or more appropriately known as Xiaodiu. That's too French. Xiaodiu. Please have Google pronounce this one for me.
Suadiu.
Yeah, there we go.
Xiaodiu.
Originated in the Chinese province of Hubei, a province often referred to as the land of fish and rice. So there's very little written record of this thing. We know the dish was invented by boatmen who took little rocks off the bottom of rivers where they collected sediment and natural flavoring from the wildlife in the water. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about the natural flavors of whatever the heck was lying down at the bottom of the river. Over time, these river stones just naturally developed a fishy taste that was then enhanced when you fried the rocks at a high heat. Smother them all in sauce, garlic, ginger, veggies, and fats to absorb the rock's flavor. Then you suck on each one to get that aromatic seafoody taste. TikTok lately has been on fire about these things, and for a number of reasons that you can probably guess. The first obvious one being that it's not every day that you see street vendors pancake flipping pebbles for the tourists. I've actually been to the street markets of Beijing and Shanghai, but this would seriously stand out among the crowd. Besides just being unusual, though, the bigger question on people's minds with stir-fried rocks is why? Why is this a trend at all? Is this real? Are people being serious about this? And if so, could this food trend actually have itself any sort of staying power? Well, the answer to all these questions is a resounding yes. And not only could stir-fried rocks be around for a long time, you might just be looking at the next high-end, exquisite food craze that's about to sweep the globe. Yeah, sweep the globe sounds like it's a bold bold claim from some guy on the internet and some rocks frying in a pan. I get that. You might even be saying, Matt, that's impossible. Do you even know where this dish comes from? And yeah, I do. What a great segue to give you a little bit more exposition. As you might imagine, stir-fried rocks not really at the top of everyone's menu. Unsurprisingly, they were originally only consumed by fishermen in the Hubei region when there was literally no other food options available. Which makes a lot of sense. Only start eating rocks as your absolute last resort. This also happened in a pre-industrialized era, and when motorboats eventually came to Hubei, it quickly reduced the chances of boatmen being stranded without supplies, at which point the dish just largely faded to obscurity. As far as the modern revival of stir-fried rocks goes, reactions to this thing online have been varied. From all the lulls about getting your rocks off,
It's ridiculous.
No thanks. I don't know.
But this is not a food.
to people having strong reactions to TikTokers exploiting this dish for clout, since it was actually a dark part of China's history with famines. Now, I'm not here to theorize about the dish from any kind of local perspective. We're just here to talk about what makes it unique and what makes it the latest in a long line of popular food trends. You see, it turns out that this dish could be an incredibly interesting food to watch over time now that it's re-entered public awareness, specifically because of its history as a famine food. Yeah, that is a real food category. It includes dishes that have originated in countries all across the globe in moments of extreme hunger or food shortage. And while it sounds weird, hang with me, because these are some of the most ingenious, creative foods on the face of the earth. They also happen to be some of the most expensive. Just to be clear here, I don't mean survival foods like the cans of creamed corn stored down in your mom's garage, or those 200 gallons of potable water that your Uncle Steve keeps in his nuclear bunker. These are foods that people have made or foraged for when they've been stuck for long periods of time in really inhospitable places all across the world. The thing about these foods is that weirdly, many of them won't sound like famine foods when I start listing them off. A lot of them will seem just like regular food that you've seen on menus pretty frequently across the US. For instance, you can probably guess that Irish people had to forage to stay alive during the Irish potato famine in the 1800s. But you might be surprised by one of the major famine foods that they discovered through this process: seaweed. Nowadays, you'd never bat an eye at seeing seaweed show up at a high-end menu or a sushi bar in the US. But at the beginning of the 1800s, Europeans had no context that this could be used as food. Another example, during the last humanitarian crisis in Cambodia, Cambodians ate scorpions and tarantulas to survive because they sometimes had nothing else to eat. But you've probably heard of those before. In fact, you might have seen scorpions and tarantulas for years on travel shows like Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmer, since they're now considered a delicacy in all of Southeast Asia and are widely available at the local street markets, the same type of street markets where we see stir-fried rocks. Think the US is exempt from all this? Think again. The indigenous
Summer of Dash Pass is here. Get more to your door for less. Groceries, self-care, restaurants, and snacks. Subscribe to save up to 50% off your order. Plus no delivery fees with Dash Pass from DoorDash. Start your 30-day free trial now.
The indigenous Algonquins from the region that's now the U.S. Northeast were known for eating pine tree bark in the winter when they ran out of food. Nowadays, restaurants in that region offer spruce tips in their expensive dishes. Spoiler alert, it's weird, it's very floral, it's not great, but hey, it's there, it still lives on, and it's expensive. And you probably think nothing of seeing cactus fries or mushroom burgers on a menu in the U.S., but cactus and mushroom, again, were originally consumed only as a desperate last resort and weren't originally considered to be food. And this, friends, is just the tip of the iceberg. Nowadays, a massive number of expensive food was all once food for the poorest members of society. Lobster, once considered to be the cockroach of the sea, these things now go for hundreds of dollars around the world. Oysters, literally the snot rocks of the ocean, now perched on top of golden seafood platters and showered with money. So what the heck is happening here? How did these foods go from, well, I'll eat them because I have literally nothing else to eat, to a national treasure that costs hundreds of dollars? Well, there are a few schools of thought for this, and let me be clear, this isn't some sort of new revelation. Economists and food scientists alike have studied this phenomenon for decades. They have a few theories, food theories of their own on why the shift happened. The first is a nutritional cause. Sometimes desperate measures get people to put things in their mouths that they wouldn't normally, and in the process they accidentally discover something that's really good for you. Way to go, humanity! Look at us, blind squirrels just accidentally finding a bunch of nuts. So, while you and my 5-year-old might not believe that mushrooms should be food, the fact is they're high in vitamin D and the B vitamins, and that might be hard to get from other sources depending on where you live. Same goes with things like cactus, which is full of fiber and vitamin C, insects, which are full of protein, seaweed, which is easy to get, cheap, and a solid source of antioxidants. But there's another big factor at play here. The other phenomenon that's elevating all these famine foods appears to be something that's been roughly termed the cost of authenticity. In recent decades, food has gotten much faster. It's gotten much more convenient. It's also gotten a whole lot more blurry when it comes to what's considered authentic. Since the rise of fast food and a whole lot of who asked for this fusion dishes, it's felt harder and harder to get real food from the real places that they originate. In a lot of areas of the world where famine foods came from, the dishes were invented because people had barely anything to eat. They did have another resource available to them: time. They had enough time to forage. They had the time to hunt for that one obscure thing in their environment that they could eat. They had the time that was necessary to get every last molecule of nutrition out of that ingredient. A great example of this is bouillabaisse from France, which started as a poverty broth made from fish scraps. Fishermen would literally take the fish scraps and guts that were left over at the end of the day and make it into a soup by boiling it for just a heck of a long time to get the most flavor and nutrition out of it. Today, bouillabaisse has evolved into a major delicacy. It can run you $75 at a real authentic French restaurant. The reason is because while now we have more money to spend on food and more ability to obtain food, we don't have the time to spend cooking dishes like this for ourselves. The only way to get a real bouillabaisse is to cook it for hours and hours. But in today's modern global society, we are time poor. So instead of being food poor, we're now entering a type of poverty where we're too busy to make the food that's considered real and authentic. Other familiar examples for you might be Vietnamese pho, another dish that can take over 10 hours to make, soupe de pêche from Italy, paella in Spain, ramen broth in Japan, and even bread made from scratch, which we all found out the hard way back in 2020. Any of you still making bread at home now that it's post-pandemic?
Never could.
No one is, because now that we can leave the house, we're too time poor to prioritize doing that sort of stuff for ourselves. But I hear you saying, Matt, Pat, you dummy, stir-fried rocks can't become a delicacy. First of all, they're not good for you. They are rocks, so that doesn't meet criteria 1 of our list here. We didn't find something that was miraculously nutritious for us. We just made rocks taste like food before we spit them out again. Yeah, that is true. I hear you on that. So what about criteria 2 and the time cost? Well, it might be true that gathering rocks from a riverbed is a time-intensive process. Stir-fried rocks, probably not one of those dishes that requires you to slave over a broth all day. Just pop in the old rocks into the fryer and add a bunch of seasoning. So stir-fried rocks cannot be one of those foods that catches on because it doesn't fit either of those 2 criteria, right? Wrong. What if I told you that stir-fried rocks can go global even though they're not good for you or time-intensive? And what if I told you that this isn't the first time that we've seen it happen? Let me introduce you to a little Italian dish called pasta ai sassi, a famine dish from the southwest coast of Italy. The name pasta ai sassi means pasta with sea stones. And if you think they're talking about real stones, well, yeah, you'd be right. In times of fish shortages or when rough sea conditions in the Mediterranean made it impossible to leave the shore, locals would add rocks from the sea to their pans alongside other ingredients and oil to seep all the flavor out of the rocks so you got the semblance of seafood flavor. Over in Italy, they chose to remove the rocks before serving, so they really missed the quality rock sucking that could have been done there. Oh man, that's one of those quotes that's gonna live on and haunt me. Rock sucking. Great choice there, man. Anyway, just like the stir-fried rocks, the Italian version of the dish also
I don't have any motivation to do anything. I just don't. Still don't. I don't think I ever will again. I got tired and I don't think I'm ever gonna wake up again. I have therapy tomorrow, but it's probably gonna be my last therapy session because I don't have a job come the end of the month. It's over. I'm unemployed. Like, I knew it was coming. But that doesn't mean I can get off the train. So yeah, unemployed at the end of the month. There's nothing I can do at the hospital that doesn't require me to stand for 12 hours. I don't have the time or the money or the brains to get a bachelor's degree in anything. So, yeah. I'm just tired of fighting. I don't want to do it anymore. Just want to blend into the wallpaper. Just lay down and give up. I know I shouldn't, but that's honestly how I feel. I just don't want to do this anymore. Anyway.
From memory once motorized travel
That's for tomorrow's therapy lesson.
It didn't stay away forever. It made a
Come on,
comeback
you.
and is now served in the region again, but with one small substitution. The recipe still calls for rocks, except now those rocks are actually mollusks, like clams and mussels. With this one evolution from hard thing in my pasta to other hard thing in my pasta, the dish manages to get the same sea flavor. Even as someone who likes shellfish, it's pretty easy to agree that clams and mussels are just little
I was waiting for this to heat up.
water anyway, so the dish becomes more edible while retaining retaining the original spirit. And just like most seafood dishes, it's gonna cost you a pretty penny, a far cry from the famine food that it began as. And this is where I think stir-fried rocks are destined to find their legacy. Clearly, the dish is onto something because people are literally willing to lick rocks and then spit them out just to have a taste of the seasoning and the flavor around it. It seems reasonable that the local recipe will eventually evolve to include something else in the local cuisine that provides a similar flavor profile and maintains the integrity and meaning of the food, but doesn't involve people actually sifting through mountains of river rocks anymore. Only time will tell, but don't be surprised if in a few years stir-fried rocks lands on a menu near you and it costs way more than all of us can afford. But hey, when it feels like all you can do is cook up a bunch of rocks, and not the good kind, that's when today's sponsor, HelloFresh, comes in to save the day. No longer do you have to worry about running out of supplies and being theory. Bon appetit.
At the Home Depot,
Hurry up!
is helping pros get theirs done. How pros do more.
Having a little treat for sending one email? That's crispy.
The water in this bottle is 14 times more expensive than the water in this bottle. 14 times. And yet, it's supposedly some expensive thing. Water. And 14 times more expensive, you'd be hoping for like gold leaf to be floating around inside of here or something, but nope, nothing, just plain old water. Clearly, this has got to be some sort of a gimmick, right? So that's what I plan to test today. Is the clear, flavorless, and odorless liquid we call water the same no matter whether it's coming from a square bottle or a cylindrical one? And when you spend more on a bottle of water, does that rich water actually taste expensive? Drink it all in, theorists. By the end of today's episode, your thirst for answers shall be quenched. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, the channel that's always sparkling and never still. We've talked a lot on this channel about various beverages, sodas, tea, coffee. Heck, we even tried olive oil mixed into coffee.
Yeah.
Still hate is Starbucks for forcing us to do that one. But there's one drink that we've critically ignored over the years of Food Theory, and that is water. Outside of the one episode where we tested whether you could predict the temperature of water just from listening to it pour, spoiler alert, you can, water's been a pretty infrequent subject on the channel. It's not hard to see why, right? It's water. There's nothing much to say about it. Clear, odorless, making up 70% of the surface of planet Earth. H2O is kind of the GOAT of planet Earth beverages, but it's not particularly flashy. And yet, over the last 2 decades, bottled water has really exploded onto the scene to capitalize off of our collective thirst. In 2020 alone, the US bottled water industry generated approximately $22 billion in revenue. Billion with a B just for water. When I was a kid, you drank from the tap and you liked it. If you were lucky, you got to drink from the garden hose. But now, water's become so ubiquitous it's starting to feel like a fashion accessory. It is a matter of taste and of class. There are even trendy waters out there.
You want a nice, crisp, balanced flavor, so no Dasani.
I mean, just wrap your head around that. Trendy water. And of course, that also is going to come with a huge range of prices. A typical bottle of water today can cost anywhere between 50 cents and $5. So, I just gotta know, is it worth it? If you actually drank all the different brands of bottled water blind, could you legitimately tell which one came from a natural spring out in the French Alps and which was bottled by the spigot-out back of Coke HQ? Can your palate actually distinguish between different brands of water? And if so, does the more expensive water actually taste any better? Today we're making Stay Hydrated Bot proud by tasting 6 of the major mainstream water options out there back to back to back to back to determine once and for all who is the baron of the bottle, the sultan of the still, the leader of the liquid. TLDW, we did a scientific experiment to determine what the best bottled waters are, and I'm going to tell you right now, the differences were moist and critical. So to do this, the team obviously had to put together a taste test for Steph and I to do, a taste test of water, which in concept is just really stupid. This is pretty insane. Now that we're sitting here on the couch doing it, it's pretty stupid. That's what we aim to figure out here today, folks. We're going to take 6 of the most common brands of bottled water, ranging from expensive online artisanal brands to your cheap everyday options that you find in most vending machines. And then Steph and I are going to conduct a blind taste test to see if these fancy brands pardon the pun, hold any water. It's also worth noting that we did this experiment using room temperature water, not because we forgot to make room in our fridge, but because that'll help make sure that we're truly able to taste all the subtle differences in the water. Believe it or not, but temperature actually matters a lot when you're talking about the flavor of stuff like water. Cold water actually suppresses your taste buds, and for this experiment, we didn't want to hinder our ability to taste the minerals and slight differences of flavor. With that said, do Steph and I have the most refined aquatic palates, or our taste buds all washed up? Let's dive in.
Alright. That's Matthew picking his teeth.
That is me picking my teeth.
Oh my god! Fine, let me finish this and we'll go to bed.
These various waters. So Santi, take us through the experiment.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Well, really wish I hadn't heard that, first of all. Second of all, in this first round, you have 6 different brands of water in the cups in front of you.
Yes.
You don't know the brand. What you'll be doing is drinking from each cup, figuring out if you can taste any differences, and if you even have a favorite out of these, and then you'll be ordering them from right to left, from cheapest to most expensivest. Then, at the end of the round, we'll
Most
tell you how close you get.
expensivest. Okay. Okay, remember how to put these together. This is going to be a hangry bear. You know, when you get really hangry and you feel like your stomach's going to eat its way out of your body? Hangry. Nom, 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 nom. I'm not going to let you dry. I'm depressed. I'm going to bed. Try this again tomorrow. Okay. Oh, somebody just stopped by. Ah, what do I do? Ghetto. I know you want cuddles, baby. Okay, I'll work on this a bit more. You guys having a good night? Keeping out of trouble, at least making it interesting? Yeah. There we go. That's better. Ghetto, stop. Keeps bumping into my leg. He wants to go to bed for snuggles. Actually, I think he just wants to go upstairs for treats, but you know. You can have both. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna be a little hangry bear. Yay! Oh. I'm gonna put you somewhere to dry. Right here. Alright, we're taking a little break. Come here, you. Kitty time. Somebody needs some attention, so we're just gonna take a little minute break. I threw him outside, but it's raining, and then he suddenly wanted to come back inside. Your litter box is clean. I cleaned it this morning. I know. Thumbs up if you think Ghetto's the most handsome boy in the world. Oh, no, that hand is not patting you. It's keeping you in my seat. You're aggressive tonight. That better? Better? Okay. Can you get down now? Are you good for a few minutes? Can I go work on the kitty cat? Can I put you in the chair and go work on the kitty cat? Yeah, we're gonna got some hairballs already working on you. There we go. See that? You weirdo. Can't have your own hair. Work out the rest with my fingers. There we go. Alright, that's enough. No, you're cut off from cuddles. Go in your chair. Oh boy. No. Be a good, adorable, fluffy pants boy and just stay there for a minute. Okay. Gonna jump over my remote's busted. There we go. Work on the cat for a minute.
Of the water. Sure, the thing is, there are no wrong answers here, Stephanie. This is a water taste test. You are responding to what your palate is telling you.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna put them in any old order because I think I'll be able to do that with no color.
This is a welcoming space.
Alright, let's do it.
Sanji, are you going to respond to everyone's comments on this experimental design when everyone's like, they're in different colors, and so the colors are going to affect the way you perceive the flavor?
So, they are wrong.
I'll drink to that. Down the hatch, everyone.
Oh, cheers.
I don't know, it tastes like water.
And squish. And squish. Okay, good.
Squish the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Well, okay.
Smelling water.
I don't know if this is true or not. This is the flavor that I don't like about Aquafina, or like this is the sort of thing that I don't like about Aquafina. It's been a long
Slightly
time.
cucumbery on the front. Don't think I care for that one as much, but like I still don't care strongly. I don't know.
Blue. The color of water.
Still no smell, but I'm going to continue to do this the whole time.
It's mellow all throughout.
It's mellow, right? That no. Somehow that's a descriptor.
Right.
It's smooth.
Purple.
Doesn't have a pretty like sharp bitter flavor up front, actually.
It's like plastic.
Even water. I don't know. Is it possible that I'm going to make myself sick by drinking all this water? My stomach is like, why are you so hydrated right now? That's not normal.
Okay, orange. Oh, yeah. No, actually, this is really bad. It's very metallic.
I don't like it.
Yeah, this is really bad. Okay, here we go. I feel like I need to clean my palate every time, but it's salty.
Oh no, this will clean your mouth.
Ooh, that is nice.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
nothing in
nice.
this.
This is
I
nice
think
water.
there's nothing in this.
I taste rice. I remember in Fiji water, at least first hit the market, or I first became aware of it in high school. There was a kid in my choir who would only drink Fiji water because it was the purest of the waters, and he insisted on it. He insisted on it so completely that it was this pure, unadulterated water that he would open the bottle and then pour it into his. He would not let his lips touch the bottle. He would pour it into his mouth, so that way he would not taste the purity of this water.
On the left, the cheapest water, you both got correct with Aquafina. The next one you both also got correct, and that is Dasani in the orange. You started off strong, but the third one is actually the red with the star, and the brand is Evian.
Really?
Oh
Yep.
no, we have bougie taste.
The next one up is purple, and Smart Water is the brand in there.
We did.
So Stephanie, you actually got that correct.
Oh yeah. Wait, no, I thought blue was smart water. I want to take this victory, but
You were half right because you did put it fourth in your lineup.
okay.
And then the final two, we have Fiji in the blue and Boss in the green.
Good job,
Okay.
Fiji. You
I
called that
Fiji.
one.
I biffed it on Aquafina hard.
So Boss, on average, comes in at about $16.99 for a six-pack.
Wow.
For water?
Fiji actually comes in at $15.99. Smart Water at $12.99. Evian at about $12 flat, $11.99. And Dasani at $3.79 for a six-pack. And Aquafina for $3.29. So both at the bottom range are the $3.
Wow. Huh. This is making me rethink a lot of stuff. I'm also mending my relationship with Aquafina.
It
No.
seems like it. You guys are coming to terms with each other.
There's healing that's happening here in this moment. Three things quickly became clear from that first round of tasting. One, that different bottled waters clearly have different flavors that you can taste. Two, that you can taste a bit of the price difference between those waters. That's how Steph and I were able to roughly predict the prices that were on the higher range things versus the lower range. And finally, three, Steph and I clearly had some favorites that immediately stood out from the pack. Ooh, that is nice. On the other side of the spectrum, Dasani. I don't know if this is the least expensive, but it is by far the worst tasting. But why did we have such a polarizing take across these two specifically? Well, Evian's water is what's known as natural spring water, which, while it certainly sounds like some corporate gobbledygook, actually has itself an official definition. The makers, or should I say bottlers, of Evian are in the business of keeping the water in as natural a state as possible. So, when it snows on the mountaintops above the French town of Evian-les-Bains, it starts to melt and seep down into the ground, flowing downwards towards the base of the slopes. As it flows, it picks up all sorts of natural minerals and electrolytes, like calcium, magnesium, and bicarbonates. These mineralized waters eventually flow into a stream outside the town where they're more or less bottled at the source, and then shipped to hotel refrigerators the world over. So really, there is some substance for why this water is so much better than some of the other contenders. They didn't just call it Evian because it was naive spelled backwards. Millennial me actually blames the movie Reality Bites for popularizing that theory. That food theory.
Evian is naive, spelled backwards.
In reality, Evian is just named after the town where the water comes from. Dasani, meanwhile, is a little bit less elegant, shall we say. Dasani, which is
Oh, that's hurt.
buys up any sort of Lake drink our stream out there, it's like, yeah, it's mostly clean. Of course, those waters are not mostly clean, especially when compared to the pure spring water of Evian. If they tried to just bottle that water, it would end up tasting worse than Coke Starlight. Tastes like dirt. So instead, they need to go in and do several rounds of filtering. This isn't the natural sort of filtering that's happening in the French Alps, though. They use their industrial might to filter everything out of the water. And I do mean everything. What they're left with is basically pure water. Now, that sounds like it should make it even more of a pure flavor than Evian, but that's not actually a good thing. It turns out the purer the water, the more bland the flavor. It might be good for Aquafina, but not for the likes of Daddy Coke. Coke is in the business of making things taste good, so they add a bunch of minerals in artificially so it tastes like what people expect water to taste like. But to Steph and I, this blind comparison, all the extra effort they put in to make the water taste better just made it taste more like backwash. Turns out the process of removing all the sweet, sweet minerals and then artificially trying to ram them back in just doesn't sit well with the two of us. But at this point, Steph and I were feeling pretty darn confident we could sniff out, or rather taste out, the best from the rest, which led us into round 2 and our team's not so fun prank.
Alright, Santi, hit us up. What do you got in store for us for round 2? You already know the brands, you know the general price range. What you're going to do now, you're going to go through, taste every single cup again, and see if you can guess the order of price.
So basically redo what we just did, but having the knowledge of what everything is. So I think my strategy here is knock out the ones that I feel like I should be able to identify.
Exactly.
Right? It's making me second guess everything.
I'm doing eyes closed. I have to go slower. Hold
Yeah,
on.
right, we're rushing
Hold on,
through.
yeah, okay.
All of a sudden we're like, we gotta go.
They're like, I'm gonna get it right now. Let's be with all. Start here.
I don't really taste anything with this one. So it's either Fiji or Evian.
Alright, what's next? Green?
Green.
It smells with air.
I know how to consume beverages. I'm the sewer, Stephanie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live within me.
What is going on? I
Don't
don't taste anything here either.
Sanji's pulling a mind game on us.
Are these all the same? These are not different waters.
They have to be. The previous experiment, there was distinctive differences. This one does not have that. And also different textures.
So, this is where I'm going to cut in and say, this was in fact a placebo round. These are all the same water.
I like that I'm still drinking them just to prove the point. I didn't say final answer.
For the reveal, every single one of these was...
Dear Bard!
Dear Bart!
A new contender enters the field.
Was this in the last round? It was not. That's why I couldn't place any of them.
Right.
You shysters.
Santi thought he was going to be slick. He was going to play some mind games, trick us into drinking the same water 6 times. But it's going to take a lot more than party tricks to pull a prank on the Patricks. But what that showed us was that the flavor differences weren't just happening in our mind. We were actively tasting them on our tongue. So with that little control test out of the way, it was time to move on to our final round. Round number 3, I'm assuming based on the fact that you have exposed the brands to us, and that we're presented with another round of 6 cups, we're going to match. Are we playing a game of match here?
So what you're going to do is, now knowing how each brand kind of tastes, see if that factors into your decision making here. So you'll be tasting every one and try to order them in the correct order.
Okay.
Yeah, still on.
You think so? I know you're going off in the bubbles.
No, I'm going off of the activistic. Like,
Are you?
Feel it. No, metallic-y. Literally.
I'm not 100% sold on, but we'll say yes.
I won't lock you in. It's okay. You don't have to commit.
Start.
Oh, yeah.
It's so smooth.
It's sweet too.
It's like thick water.
Yeah.
Thick water, like double C thick.
Yep.
So smooth, so buttery. It's really good.
It's really nice.
It's really nice. Purple?
Floss.
It's not. Really? I'm not getting a whole lot of flavor in it.
I'm getting a lot of flavor on my tongue.
Man, should I have not taken a bite of that sandwich in between takes?
I'm gonna tentatively assign this to smart water, but I'm not sure yet.
Shoot, well, I think it's Evian, but also I need to get rid of the flavor on my tongue apparently now. It was like, great.
Here, drink some water. Oh, but there's some flavor on the front. I think that might have been the Dasani with the like front end.
Go.
Sorry, I'm desperately trying to clean my tongue
Do you
off.
know what I mean? Or is that the one I hate? Which I think. Are we experiencing some taste bud fatigue here?
I do wonder that. Is there a world where we are experiencing taste bud fatigue? Because there is a world where you just have like so much.
No.
Oh, I felt this one.
There's a taste on this one. Yeah, on the orange one.
Yes. And it's a front taste, not a back taste.
Right, exactly.
Which means-
The back finish is smooth. I'm pretty locked on these 3, right? So Aquafina, the bubbly one with the back end flavor with like the aftertaste. Done. Evian, I think is clearly here in the middle. I think it's the one. We're very clear on Fiji. I can do this. Here's now. I'm have very similar opinions about all these waters, so it makes sense that I think our opinions would line up here as well. This feels like a lot of pressure for something that is so inconsequential.
Aquafina, you're both correct.
Woo!
Following with Dasani, which was in the green cup.
Yeah!
Evian up next, the blue cup.
Woo! Come on!
Smart Water, orange cup.
Yes! Yes!
Fiji, it was in the purple cup.
Are you kidding me?
No!
I think.
Yep, Fiji was in the purple and Boss was in the red star.
We were
Left
talking,
there.
and we didn't bother to double check it. Oh, and we even said it too. We said it was sweet, that Fiji has no flavor. Oh, I need to think back to Steve. Steve from high school, who didn't want to taint the non-flavor with his lips. Oh, what fools we've been. Hubris. Oh, we were Icarus and we flew to the sun.
What's not to say about water flavor?
Now, you'll probably be fine. Don't quote me, I'm not a doctor.
Not medical, hashtag not medical advice. I'm proud of you for opening your mind and your palate to the wide, diverse flavors of water.
Thanks. It's been a journey for me. I feel like I've come a long way. I developed an opinion in an area where I was very happy to not have one before, unfortunately. But I'm much better educated to pick between water when I need to buy bottled water. I'm very excited about it.
Right? This is great. Yeah,
That's
so
good.
next time anyone says to you, like, oh, bottled water will taste the same, certainly not.
No, not even close.
Not even close. Not even for a second. What's your favorite across the board now?
I think I'm done.
Water and
I tried something else, so I'm done.
Also favorite.
Whew. Yep, time to go to bed.
Down.
If you're going for like whatever mid